guys, and time for Sewing with Annie. Well, no, not really. Well, it could be Sewing with Annie, or maybe Sew with a Purpose, or maybe, I don't know. Let's come up with a name for my video tutorials. I know we want to maybe we'll have a contest. That's it. We'll have a contest, and we'll do a Sewing with Annie, and have somebody come up with a name for our little sewing group that we're forming here today. Okay? But anyway, today, in the light of summer, you know, Walmart has its long sleeve t-shirts on clearance for $2, maybe $1. But everybody's, oh, it's summer, it's so hot, sometimes you can't wear long sleeves. Maybe you want to wear a 3/4 sleeve or something. So today, out of necessity, because I'm doing some for my store, I am going to show you how to convert a long sleeve into a 3/4 sleeve. Or, you know, an elbow. It works either way, and you still have a really nice coverage. And everybody, my husband is videotaping us today, so say hi.
Hello.
There you go. And we'll see how this video turns out. All right, so what we're going to do is you're going to start with a long sleeve t-shirt. This is one of my favorites, lots of multicolors, and orange, you know, is one of my favorites. And so 3/4 sleeves are perfect if you take the sleeve, like, you know, how far do I want to go? You can either measure from the top of your shoulder seam down to where you want the sleeve to come. Or me, if I'm converting them for a customer or something like that, I basically fold the sleeve so that the bottom hem matches up to the shoulder seam. And then I lay it flat. And then I will usually cut, and then just like a ½ inch past that. That way, when I fold it under and sew it, I've still got the same length. So, honey, if you want to come in here and show the ladies how we've got this cut and lined up here at the sleeve. All right, and then we're just going to cut right across here about a ½ inch from where I have it folded. See there? All right, and we'll just cut this straight across. This is really nice because we have stripes, and I can just cut the stripes and get a good straight line from where I folded it. All right, now, I bet you're wondering, well, how do I get the sleeve to be the same length? Well, voila, all you do is take your other sleeve, and you make sure you lay it out nice and flat. And then, to make sure that you have the same length, you're going to line up the hems at the bottom. Line it up with your other sleeve here. Now, you don't want to stretch this when you're cutting it, okay? That'll make your line all wonky, okay? And here we go. And now I'm going to cut this right at this line so that it is even with the sleeve that I just cut off. There we go. And now I have two little arm pieces. Now, I'll show you something to do with these later. It's pretty neat. You can do, it's like the sleeveys that I have, and you can put a little piece of elastic in the top of these, and then you can wear them as a sleeve. When you have a short sleeve shirt, you can have a little piece of elastic up here in the top, really soft banded, and then you can use these as a 3/4 sleeve slip. Instead of having to double layer, especially when it's hot, you just make these and you have your own little comfortable sleeveys. So don't throw those away. You can save those and use those for later. All right, now once we have that, now you have your sleeve cut, and you're just going to take this edge and fold it over that little ½ inch. Now again, this is striped, so it's really nice because you could just follow the stripe along and fold it even with your stripe. Okay? Just like that. Now with this, you can go ahead and pin it. Okay, but what I like to do is I like to press it. That way it doesn't, you have your nice little crease, it doesn't move, and you don't have to worry about having pins in your garment while you're trying to sew. So, through the magic of videography, I now have, voila! I have a little shirt that has now been pressed under. See, there's no, it's just pressed under there. I don't have any seams or anything, and look at that. It's nice and neat. And now I'm just going to sew that down. Now, let's pull over my handy dandy sewing machine. Now this one I'm actually going to use my sewing machine for. I know you have been used to seeing me use my serger, but with this, since I have to top stitch, we have to use the sewing machine. And what you're going to do is you're going to want to have your tension right around 5, a little bit on the high side of normal, and you want to use a small zigzag stitch. Now on my sewing machine, the small zigzag stitch is the number 4. See this one here, the number 4, or the number 5. Now the number 5 stitch is for sewing elastic, and it stretches really nicely. And then I have the 2 overlock stitches, 6 and 7. You can use those 2 stitches if your machine has them to finish your edges like my serger does, but you do it on a sewing machine. Okay? Now, the other unique thing that I'm going to be using today is called a walking foot. And what the walking foot is, see here, this is this thing on the back of my machine right here. It has its own little up and down lever, and what it does is it's got little teeth. Let me pull that up so you can see it. It's got little teeth right here on the top and on the bottom. Okay, that way it grabs your fabric as it goes through, and you don't have to, you can see the little teeth right there on the top. And that way your fabric, a lot of times when you sew on knits, your fabric will stretch and pull and it'll be all wonky and it won't look right. Well, with the walking foot, it's going to save us from doing that. All right, so here we go. Now little people's sleeves are kind of harder to do because, you know, they're little. And they won't fit around the sleeve portion of your sewing machine. So, I always start at the underarm seam. Okay, and then, because you can then end there and it's less noticeable if it's under the arm. Okay? And I'm just going to place this under my walking foot right at the seam and push that down. Okay, now I just have to gently sew this around using that little zigzag stitch. So here we go. Oops, I stepped on the pedal for my serger. Uh-oh. Here, let's try it again, and this time I will step on the right sewing pedal. All right, here we go. And see, you could see the little feet on top pulling the fabric right through. And then you have to stop and adjust and make sure, and you don't want to stretch this as it sews. You want to let the machine feed it right through for you. And it's going right through there and sewing that. You just have to keep bringing it around. then you have it neat right where you started. At the underarm seam, back stitch a little bit, and you're all done with the one arm. All right, I'll pull that out and cut it off. And then as you look, here you have a sleeve that's still stretchy. So when they put it on, they could still stretch, and it doesn't, and it's not all buckled when you go to sew. All right, now we're just gonna go and do the other arm, and then we will be all finished. Thank you very much, ladies. We'll see you next time in Solo Deo Gloria.